Howdy, all you delicious people. I am here today to play more The Simpsons Tapped Out. Honestly, it would just be kind of just really nice to just be able to just do a game today and like not have any issues, like recording issues or otherwise. Like I didn't have much of any issues of the uh, overall game variety, but it was just like whatever I tried to like record a like movie review today of some kind of movie somewhere, somehow, whatever. Like it consistently just ended up being like some kind of issue, some kind of problem, some kind of whatever. And I was like, oh my god. I'm like, man, like really it was honestly kind of my fault because reasonably I was like, well, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and try to challenge myself today by trying to do a fairly complicated movie that has so many complex variables and whatever. And I'm like, dude, like you should have just gone back and either done an episode of some show or you probably just should have just done something that was really just simplistic, nice and tidy. We stored some of your quests while you work on more important things. You can find your tidied up quest by tapping this icon in your taskbar. Well, that's great, but I'm looking for this thing called that sideshow man. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he running amok to? Okay, so you stored some things. Great. Great for you. Where is the sideshow man? Gosh darn it. Could he just stop? Just run it off? I need to find where exactly he is and collect the man. There he is. There he is. Yeah. You're wasting your time. You can't keep me in jail. That's where you're wrong, Sideshow Bob. You'll never escape again. I mean, really, it's exhausting. You'll be good, right? Run, run, little rabbit, run. Anyways, I'm gonna call that a yes. Okay, congratulations, you've completed Flaw and Order Part 3. Collect your reward. Perhaps you'd like to know how I engineered my ultimate revenge. Sideshow Bob XP. Oh, so Sideshow Bob is just now part of the town, I take it? Okay. Alright, well that's interesting. Congratulations, you've completed Schoolhouse Clock. Or Croc? There we go. Part 1. Collect your reward. Come on, kids. You don't want to be tardy or trudent now, do you? Which is, school talk for late or not here. Okay. Tell Lisa to go to school, because she needs to be gone for 6 freaking hours. I say the word frickin' because I just desperately need to. Okay, let's see who fights the Itchy and Scratchy Show. That's not a match. But you'll just win stuff anyways. 350 buccarinos. Yeah. Okay, let's collect more money. And then let's get into some story, I hope. Give me the finger. Give me... Give it to me. Give me the gosh darn finger. Just throw it up. Just 8 Mile it. And just, like, I remember in the movie 8 Mile, where I guess instead of, like, they bizarrely censored themselves to where if you see, like, the TV version of the movie 8 Mile, you just see them doing this bizarrely, and it makes no sense. Skyfinger Monument. Okay. That was great. Let's bump up the volume a little bit here, so we can hear people shouting out obscenities that make no sense to me. Once again, I'm back in Springfield, and yet somehow it's different. as though it had been blown to smithereens and then clumsily reassembled by some knucklehead with zero clue about how to lay out a town. But if this is a different Springfield, then perhaps or I am a different Sideshow Bob, no longer cursed with the obsession to kill Bart Simpson. Only one way to find out. Spying on the Simpsons from the bushes around their house. Apparently my love of creepy stalking hasn't changed. I almost ballparkingly sounded somewhere in the realm of Kelsey Grammer, but not exactly Kelsey Grammer. Because Kelsey Grammer is hard to sound like Kelsey Grammer for me. Rake it to the limit. One more time, part 1. 12 hours? Good God, game. To just do one little ditty. It takes like a million years in this game. You know what? I seriously want them. I seriously do. I want them to have some mission that they'll have me do that takes 1 year to finish. Like, they've already gotten like a whole entire 24 hours accomplishment and all kinds of things. So I'm just waiting for them to have me have a goal that takes 1 year for me to accomplish. So 1 year from today I'll come back and have this recording being like, oh yeah, I finally got some progress. Woo for this game. Woo! I did it. Make Ned pray for Homer's redemption. And he has to take 8 hours to do that. Isn't that fan-diddly-tastic? I'm trying to remember if that was an actual legitimate episode where Flanders had to pray for Homer. I think there was something about that. There's always a ton of episodes where Homer and Ned have a lot of disagreements. But I don't even remember if Flanders had to pray for Homer's soul. There might have been some sequence where Ned was thinking that Homer was some kind of devil or something, but that could have been any number of people and I might have gotten that construed with somebody else, more than likely. But anyways, task. Okay, that's gonna take 7 years to complete. Okay. New things that we can put into this town, maybe. Maybe, baby. Yeah, Captain Bob with his little clothes on the catwalk. Yeah, on the catwalk. On the catwalk. Okay. Ooh. We can put in a flaming torch. Why? We can have a rake, because I don't understand that at all. And I don't understand, why is it 7 donuts? That seems really just a waste to have. And plus also, 3 rakes? 15 rakes? What are we doing with these rakes? What is the value of these rakes? What are we doing with them? Why do they even exist? That is so weird. This town is so bizarre. Anyways, we now have to do the thing of stuff to just be like, you know what? We did a thing. So now we're going to have to make people do things because they're just that kind of peoples. Okay, so crossing guard. He might as well be gone for 1,000,000 years. 1,000,000 bajillion years, this guy, this man. this human being. I guess I'm gonna have you go for 12 hours. Just be gone with you. Go to shul. So wait a minute. Lisa and Milhouse are the only two kids in this school, or in this world, and in this whatever, but they only have Lisa go to school, I guess, because they probably just figured that I didn't have Milhouse in this game, so they immediately just assessed or assumed that only Lisa could go into this thing called school. But if anyway, still, they gave Milhouse the option. But still, that's not good enough for me. That's not good enough for this Springfield. That's not good enough for, ooh, we can have him do things for 45 seconds while people are collecting money. Yeah, you better pay, you better pray to Ganesh. You better pray to Ganesh. You're gonna need to probably not whistle Dixie here. You're gonna have to plant some plants here. You're gonna have to plant some crops. Uh, both of those plants are actually cheap, but they don't have any rewards with them. No, I'm not gonna speed up the process. You kidding me, game? Who speeds up processes? But yeah, but if anything, I'm kind of running out of memory of The Simpsons at some point. Like I remember when like they ended up blatantly ripping off like the Michael Keaton multiplicity episode to where Homer ended up repetitiously cloning himself. Like I remember that episode. Uh Trying to like come into my noggin of remembering any other episodes that are coming to mind. Yes, yes. Hmm. I'm having problems. I am having the problems. Here's the thing. Did we probably have one of these episodes where somebody ended up becoming like an absurd like monster or something? I know that always happens in every single show where like for comedic value, we end up having some person who ends up becoming like a werewolf like creature, but it's actually some stupid goofy creature that makes actually no sense. I remember, I think Homer at some point ending up becoming a superhero, who I think his superhero name was Pie Man, I think, and that costume was actually pretty sweet. Like to be brutally honest, like we've kind of had Homer do almost every single possible thing that he could do on this show at some point. Wasn't there at some point that Homer, I think, had some kind of like beer contest that he had to like out drink everybody to eventually go and win this Duff contest where like he's going to have like Duff Man like do some kind of like party for him or something? It was so long ago. Like some of these episodes are so old to me. Uh, I know there was some episode where they ended up having to actually show where that comic book geek guy actually works because they eventually, I think, had like Bart and Milhouse eventually going to his shop to try and buy something off of him. Um, like, I thought that that comic book geek guy was really just really annoying. But then eventually, I think they ended up having to do like a whole entire episode just devoted to that guy because eventually they just really just ran out of people to cover, and so they ended up covering an episode with that guy. Where I think at some point he ended up almost going to starting to date the uh, to starting to date Bart's uh, teacher, and then I think she ended up going back. She ended up going back to Skinner. But yeah, I'm not gonna catch a break today with recordings. Every single recording, there is some kind of goofy thing that is just gonna like prevent me from getting a video out or taking forever to get a video out for the most point. Even video games it's like, no, you thought that you were going to catch a break. No, not going to happen this day. I think it's just going to get to a point where I'm just going to have to try and do something that seems the quickest to but isn't going to be the video that I wanted to put out today. For games, so I could just kind of get my day just done, so I can just put videos out, so I could just be like done with my day, or otherwise it's just gonna take like too long. Like I think like Disney Heroes, like I'm enjoying that series, but man, does one of those videos take a crazy amount of time to just try and upload every single day. Um, and so like that is really not working out with what I'm gonna try to accomplish, because I don't have hours to spend uh, trying to get that video to go well today, because all the other hoops that I jumped uh, through other videos. But anyways, um, whoo. It is kind of funny how a couple times here and there they tried to do some religion stuff with this show. I think Ned, like I don't know why it is, but they kept trying to do a lot of like religion stuff on this show. Uh, we end up having the Simpsons ending up going to church. Like a lot of times, I think Homer ended up falling asleep at church. Uh, I think a lot of times, they would have Ned and his kids having like Bible study, and so good for them. Um, I think at one point there was like an entire episode where either the Flanders or just the kids were trying to convert the Simpsons. I think at one point, I think Ned was trying to convert Bart, and so we ended up having Bart almost get baptized, but instead, I think Homer ended up being baptized instead by accident instead of Bart. Yeah, I remember that episode fairly vividly. But yeah, so more than excuse me, more than likely, I'm probably not going to know any of the more recent Simpsons episodes because I didn't go back and check all that stuff out. Um, I probably wish I could have, but I just like it's a 32 season show, and I'm just like, would people be interested in me talking about The Simpsons? More than likely, anybody probably from here would probably be interested. But like, well, dude, you covered all this stuff through all this series, so what am I gonna hear different from whichever? But I would actually legitimately cover like episode to episode. Like I think more than likely it would probably have to be like a couple, like, well, I don't know, it would depend on like, it's been a long time since I watched The Simpsons, and so I'd have to probably go at like by a case by case basis of, is there a lot going on in these episodes, is there a lot of complications going on with these episodes, maybe I should review one episode per. I'm trying to really try to pull back and try and do a little bit less here and there. I also started rewatching a show called Happy that was on Netflix, and I was really happy while I was watching that show. It was actually a fun show. I like the show. But yeah, definitely a rated R show where we end up having kind of a very Deadpool-esque like show being done with that. But it is really fun. Blah, 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 blah. Why? Who? Who Nelly? Who Nelly Furtado? Hmm. It is kind of interesting when we have to like say that a hillbilly is like a banjo twang, or like we end up having a lot of like classic stereotypes for hillbillies where they all have to wear like flannel or whatever. Bizarre. Bizarre. Some stereotypes. Homer, what's going on there, buddy? Yeah, turn your back on me. Then re-unturn your back. 7 hours. Oh gosh darn it. You and your plants, dear sir. I don't even know if that's working properly. And I don't even know if this game is working properly, because I feel like there isn't enough story going on here. Yes, sir! Can't even, like. I think they probably got, like, maybe just some random clippets of somebody saying some random thing. Because you can't expect these people to voice all these things through all of these games. It just seems impossible. It just seems like they would have like a certain line of whatever to deliver, but after that they're just like, oh well, like just have a bunch of grunts and whatever, and just have some random catchphrases that we can just keep reusing eventually over and over and over again. I'm sure these people who ended up doing the voiceovers for the show are making money just hand over fist. Like, good grief. Like, I'm sure they're just like, because really we have it to where, like, there's so much merchandising that goes into this show, and immediately you'd have it to where, like, one person probably did, like, 20 voices of this show, and so immediately I'm sure those people who end up doing those voices for those people end up getting a certain portion of merchandise money for any of the characters that they have voiced. Like, you would imagine the girl who ended up doing the voice for Bart Simpson made like a killing. Like, either the girl that played Bart Simpson, or uh, the guy that did Homer just made a killing off of merchandising. You would assess or assume. Um, Boo! Boo! Boo on you! Boo! Millhouse, what are you doing? Yeah, you get your wet bed sheets. Bed sheets. Was there a whole episode about that? I don't remember much about Millhouse. I don't really know much about that Millhouse. I just know that eventually, like, he was so intrigued about Lisa, and I think that was like his main like thing, is eventually he was trying as much as possible to consistently win over Lisa. Like, there's a whole like thing about Millhouse just consistently trying to win over Lisa, to the point to where when eventually Lisa is to be shown being a much older Lisa, like, she never actually still gets won over by Millhouse. I think to the very end of that episode, to where eventually they're like, oh well, you know what? Uh, we'll just say finally that eventually Lisa and Millhouse end up together, because we just have to. We just feel there's a need to just say that eventually. Uh, Wait a minute. There's no more praying to Ganesh. I guess you'll just have to feed your babies, I guess. That kind of sucks. Homer, what are you doing? What, did they get rid of the cheap goals? Well, I guess because I'm so close to 10 right now, right? Dude, I'm not gonna. No, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna reconnect to those other towns. Sorry, every time I do that, that cuts off. Plus, I've already cut off the recording anyways, so I don't want to double dip into cutting off recording twice in one day. Whew! Whew, whew, whew. Chia. Millhouse, you're the greatest. Alright, 45 seconds again for you and your bed sheets. For you and your bed tonight. Uh, you know what I'm kind of really interested in kind of wondering? Like, if there was ever rough drafts for any number of characters, like, yeah, there is like the Simpsons where they had a certain look to them at some point, and then eventually they kept transitioning into uh, like ways of which that eventually now they look. But here's the thing: I'm kind of curious if there was ever actually a rough draft of any number of any of these characters where they went a drastically different iteration from where the characters started out to be. Like, I would love to be able to see like the rough drafts of certain characters where it's like maybe like Apu looked drastically different, or maybe Homer had hair, or maybe Bart didn't have the bizarrish whatever hair piece that he has. Like it's kind of interesting how both Lisa and Bart have this like weird shape going on with their head, but it doesn't seem like they actually have legitimate hair, even though people could say otherwise. Um, and it's kind of interesting and or funny how they kept that shape throughout this like entire time, and it never changed. Like, I think there was some time where I think Lisa may or may not have like gotten like a different hairstyle at some point, but I think she went back into the traditional hairstyle. I think I know Marge. I think uh, she might have gone through a hairstyle change slightly too until the very end of some episode. I remember her in one episode going into a bath and dipping her uh, hair into the bath, and then you end up just seeing like Marge with just this like long flowing blue locks, which I thought were really cool. I think in one like flashback episode where we end up having showcasing like Marge during a certain time period where I think like she was meeting Homer for the first time, I think. Like she ended up having just like her hair down, and like I think she ended up having it eventually just do that weird bizarrish uh thing that we're iconically knowing of her to have. Boo! Who are you? Boo! Come on, let's get to level 10, please. Let's have me do something that'll get me to level 10. Come on, game, you gotta have something that'll not take 12 bajillion years to get all up inside of, you know? Here's also the thing. You know what? In this game, I'm starting to realize how goofy the colors of these houses are. Why would anybody in their life have a purple roof? This makes no sense. But then again, like I guess like most of these houses and homes seem like to have reasonable colors, with the exclusion of that school with that purple. Really? 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 I don't know. I don't know what it is with them and their purple, but man, do they have quite a bit of purple everywhere. It's like different kind of purple. Like, look at how many of these houses have some kind of purple in it. I don't know what it is with them and they're purple, but man, like, is it just like, do the artists just love to, like, is that the thing that, like, a lot of things have to have purple in it? Like, that's kind of funny because Marge's hair is blue. And, like, yeah, there's so much stuff that probably actually is purple. Boo, boo on you! I'm not yawning, I'm booing. I'm not yawning at all. Man, I think we're getting to our real tail end of the day. So yeah, with that said, we didn't get much accomplished in this episode, but I think we also have to call it a wrap here pretty soon, anyways, because I'm gonna just get burnt out. Um, so yeah. Um, Anyways, we're gonna have to call it a day. So that just kind of just takes the wind out of my sails because I'm like, man, like I wish we could get a lot more done with this game, but it just doesn't want to work that way. So with that said, I'm gonna get out of here. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, everyone. Good bibbity bye. Goodbye. Goodbye, everybody. Bye, everyone.